Okay. So there's a term that we use in naturopathic medicine and also in homeopathy called the vital force. Hahnemann refers to a spirit-like life force throughout the organon. Okay? And the vital force is that which, when it's flowing freely from within outward, it brings about the experience of health and well-being. When this innate flow is obstructed, and I'm paraphrasing from Hahnemann right now, but I will show you a paragraph directly from the organon. But when this innate flow is obstructed or deranged or altered, the person experiences this as stress or dis-ease or suffering. Okay? And what the homeopathic medicine does is it goes in and it cancels out, or it relieves that obstruction or that derangement or that alteration, and it brings back or reinstitutes that free flow of the vital force. And when that happens, the person experiences that as wellness. Okay. So in paragraph 10 of the organon, Hahnemann says that without the vital force, the material organism is unable to feel or act or maintain itself. Only because of this immaterial being, the vital principle that animates it in health and in disease, can it feel and maintain its vital function. James Tyler Kent, this other prominent homeopath that I mentioned, he also brought up this idea, and he said, he asked the question, can a cadaver will? Can a cadaver think or dream? And the answer is no, it can't. And they're saying that it can't because it doesn't have this vital principle. That's what's missing in the cadaver when you compare it to a human being who's alive. And so that vital principle is what constantly helps you to maintain your sense of wellness. It helps you to interact and live and be. And so when there's a derangement or a mistunement there, then that mistunement is experienced as suffering. Okay? So we cannot perceive the vital force directly. So we rely on changes from a state of normalcy. That's why in homeopathic medicine, when somebody is suffering, we have to understand the totality of the suffering. We have to understand not just the fact that the person may have a headache or a sore throat or a cough. We have to understand the experiences, the changes from their normal state to the state that they find themselves in. So are there mental changes, emotional changes, changes in sensitivity to the environment? Are they more sensitive to heat, more sensitive to cold? Are drafts? Do they become more thirsty? Do they completely lose their appetite or become thirstless? All of these things are part of the picture that we're looking for. Okay? So the patient's experience of what feels unsettled or stressful or uneasy, bothersome or not well, it will lead the practitioner to the central disturbance. Okay? We're using this term that's come around in the past 7 years or so as, the non-human song. The non-human song is the energetic state of a particular plant or a particular mineral or a combination of minerals, which would be a salt or a metal. Okay? So we talk about it's a deviation from normalcy is what we're trying to understand. So what's normal? Normal is being at ease and having a sense of well-being. Normal is being able to wake refreshed and have a sense of purpose in life and being able to forgive and grow. This is normal. This is healthy. Okay? Normal is experiencing a high degree of freedom on all levels, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. That's normal. Being able to give and receive love freely, that's normal. Okay? Having energy to function throughout the day, that's normal. Any deviation from these things, then the organism, the person, is starting to move away from normalcy to a state of dis-ease. Okay? So it's important to remember that there's nothing outside of you that can be added to this peace that's available to you within. All right? And I'm bringing this up because I get a lot of questions from people saying, well, do people need this remedy their entire life? Or do they, if you give them this remedy, this homeopathic medicine, do they shift into another remedy state and then you have to prescribe on that, and another remedy state and you have to prescribe on that? And underneath that question is this idea that you're never completely well. And I don't know if I agree with that. I think a human being can find themselves in a place where, as long as they get proper sleep and they eat right and they get enough fresh air and enough water and all of the things that maintain health, then they don't need to keep searching and looking for things. Okay? You don't need to take something to maintain your wellness. Okay? Pharmaceutical medications, they don't offer peace or a cure. Okay? Homeopathic medicines don't contain peace or well-being. Okay? What they do, homeopathic medicines, from a homeopathic point of view, from the theory that's been applied over the past 200 years, and which I've seen in my practice as well, is that they cancel out the dissonant energy pattern. So you're only left with a harmonious vital force within. And this was Hahnemann's teaching, is that if the vital force is flowing freely, if it's harmonious, then the human being, the organism, experiences wellness. Okay? This is what leads to the feeling of relief from suffering and symptoms. In some cases, we could even use the word cure. I can tell you from personal experience that when somebody comes to me and they're sick, and you find the right remedy and you give the remedy to them, they tell you, I feel more like myself. I feel more at ease. I feel more at peace. These things aren't coming from the remedy. That experience isn't coming from the remedy. It's coming from who they are, because you're effectively addressing that dissonant energy that was causing the disruption or the suffering in the first place. Okay. So we have these different levels of prescribing in homeopathy. And I want to go over this briefly because I want to make the point that we're not prescribing on a sore throat, okay? We're not prescribing, so if somebody has a chief complaint, we're not prescribing on the chief complaint. We're not prescribing on the fact that the person may say, you know, well, I've had it for 2 days, okay? That's not important. They may have changes in emotional states, but those are stepping stones to understand the sensation, the deepest level of disturbance in the person. Okay? When we prescribe homeopathy, and this level of experience is, I think, maybe more applicable to chronic case taking and chronic prescribing. But what we're looking for is what's on level 5. It's the deepest level of experience. Okay? So, in general, what you want to take away from this is that it's not enough to know that a person has a sore throat. We need, if they say it hurts, we can't repertorize that, we can't use that. We need to know, tell me more about the experience of it hurts. What does it feel like? Because different remedies are going to have different sensations. Some remedies for sore throats may have a sensation as though it's been grated and it's really raw. Some remedy states may be more of a sticking or stabbing pain. Some remedy may be more of a burning and a swelling pain. Okay? These are all important to understand to find the right medicine for the person. Okay? So, what is illness? And I'm using the definition of illness from the Organon because we're talking about homeopathy. And Hahnemann said that the unprejudiced observer perceives deviations from the formerly healthy state of the now sick patient, which are 1, felt by the patient, 2, perceived by those around him or her, okay? And 3, observed by the physician. Any changes in that person's state, which are felt by the patient, perceived by those around him or her, or observed by, in Hahnemann's words, the physician or the prescriber, that's the totality of illness, okay? We have in homeopathy an equation that I'd like to introduce you to, and it's this